Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to PBA at Noon. I'm Paul Benwell, and I'm joined by my colleague Sophie Caesar. We are very happy to have back with us Bonterra Resources. Bonterra trades on the TSX Venture under the symbol BTR. They are a late-stage gold exploration company with 2.1 million ounces defined among three 100% owned high-grade underground deposits within the Abitibi Greenstone Belt in Quebec. They also control the only permitted mill in the region. They recently announced encouraging drill results from their Moss property and a $25 million flow-through private placement. But the most exciting news is the recent appointment of Marc-Andre Pelletier as president and CEO. Here with us for the first time is Marc-Andre, and in the background we do have Executive Chairman Cesar Gonzalez. Mark, whenever you're ready, please start your presentation, and we will have some questions for you at the end.
Thanks, Paul and Sophie. I'm going to share my screen. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. A brief introduction of myself. I joined Bonterra about a month ago. My background is basically in mining engineering. I got over 25 years of experience, mostly in gold, open pit and underground. In the last 10 years, I mostly reopened closed mine or started new projects in Quebec and in Ontario. I had the chance to reopen 4 underground mines and 1 open pit. Most recently, 5 years ago, I was working for Wesdome Gold Mine. 5 years ago, there was basically 2 things I wanted to do. I wanted, of course, to reopen the Kena mine, which was shut down in 2013. And I also wanted to increase the production from the Eagle mine. And the main reason, and that's part of the Wesdome story, is Wesdome wanted to finance the growth of the company, the reopening of the Kena mine, with internal organic growth. So in the last 5 years, we basically doubled up the production at Eagle mine to more than 100,000 ounces. And Kena mine is going to produce about 70,000 ounces this year. So I was quite happy with what I've done at the Wesdome. And when Cesar and the board of Bonterra reached me for the CEO position, I thought actually that was a good fit for Bonterra, considering my past experience. As Paul mentioned, I think what sets Bonterra apart is the quality of the infrastructures, the mill, and the mining camps as well. Another thing that really attracted me to Bonterra was the vision from the board, that with kind of a scaled-up approach. So start small and grow the business, and that vision actually really bothered well with my background. You see the location of our 2 properties in the northern of Quebec, in the Abitibi Greenstone Belt. Our deposits are basically hosted carbonate quartz vein deposit, typical deposit in the Abitibi. The Urban Barry camp is about 3 hours north of Val-d'Or, where is the host of the famous Cadillac Break, and about 100 kilometers to the north, we have the Bachelor, which what I call the Bachelor Mine Complex, where the mill is located. A little bit more in details here. You see the Bachelor Mill and tailings facility up north. That this is where the mill is, the tailings management area, and the Bachelor Mine. We also have the Bachelor Mawa deposit, which contains approximately 265,000 ounces. It's all underground resources. Between Bachelor and Barry Gladiator camps, there's a forestry road of about 110 kilometers. So we can access basically the mill and our two flagship projects, Barry and Gladiator, on to the south. We have about 2.8 million ounces in resource between Barry and Gladiator. The two projects are located just south of the Windfall deposit. So for the urban Barry camp, within about 15 kilometers, the total resources is about 10 million ounces in this camp. With lots of potential to add more ounces. At the Barry, the resources are in pit and underground for a total of about 1.2, 1.3 million ounces. And Gladiator, which is the highest grade asset at an average grade of 7.7 grams per ton, contains 1.4 million ounces. I had the chance to visit the sites 3 weeks ago, and I was very impressed by the quality of the infrastructures. You see on the left a picture of the head frame and the mill. So the milling capacity is 800 tons. We are in the process for permitting to increase the capacity up to 2,400 tons per day. At the same time, we apply for an expansion of our tailings capacity up to 8 million tons. In the middle, you see the Barry camp. What's interesting at Barry is we have a mining lease. So we have mining rights for both open pit and underground mining here. On this picture, you can see the open pit from the past producer, Metanor. There's a total of 600,000 tons at a grade of 2.2 grams per ton for about 45,000 ounces. That has been mined in the past year, 2008, 2010. At the Gladiator on the right, you see it's more like an exploration camp. We have core shacks, we have shops, but it's still fairly early stage of exploration there. Since I've been fairly new in my role, I had the chance to improve my knowledge on our projects, and I basically perform a technical review of our 3 projects. So currently we have 4 diamond drills, 2 at Gladiator and 2 at Barry, and we are drilling at a rate of about 6,000 meters a month. We are in the permitting process for Gladiator for an exploration ramp that will provide much more flexibility in our diamond drilling program there. As I mentioned with the mill expansion, permitting has been ongoing for a few years already, and we expect to get the approval from the COMEX by the end of this year. As we are performing the technical review, I realized that our projects were not all at the same stage of development. Gladiator deposit, excuse me. As I'm going to talk a bit more in detail later on, is under a lake, which complicates which limits the capacity of diamond drilling there from the surface, on the lake during the summer, and on the shore during the winter. And because Barry has a mining lease, we made the decision to perform a PEA on the Barry project in order to verify the potential of the economics of the projects. As Paul mentioned, we're actually in capital raising for 25 million. This money is going to be very important to continue to advance our projects on the technical aspects and to continue to perform the diamond drilling in our projects. This map shows the high level, the regional geology of the urban Barry camp. The 4 blue triangles represents the diamond drills. We actually have 2 diamond drills at Gladiators and 2 at Barry. This map shows the magnetic survey, which demonstrate the higher conductivity of the rock. We are performing exploration, regional exploration during the winter at Barry South, which is located on the Windfall Break. And also there is a diamond drill in the middle between Barry and Gladiator at the Coliseum Arrow target. This represents a side view of the Gladiator deposit. The Gladiator deposit remains open at depth and on the strike lengths, east and west. The geology is basically 2 types of veins. We have the subvertical veins, which are from 1 meter to 4 meters thick. And between those main zones, we have what we call the North Dipper, which are moderate to steep dipping veins. Those veins are narrower, about 0.5 meter to 4 meter thick. This is a good view showing the deposit under the lake. And as you can see, the majority of the deposit is under the lake. During the summer, we had 2 diamond drills on the lake. And this winter, we have 1 diamond drill located on the east side of the deposit. And we are actually targeting the deposit at an elevation of 1,200 meters below surface. That is 200 meters below the actual resource shape of the deposit. So great potential there to add more ounces. There's some regional exploration that has been done in the past. You see some of the results. There is a gold-bearing trend there. And like I mentioned, the ore body remains open at east and west end. Quickly on Barry. What's interesting at Barry is we have in-pit and underground resources. The in-pit resource contains about 165,000 ounces of gold from surface down to 100 meters deep. Below 100 down to 650 meters contains the underground resources for about 1.2 million ounces. There's been an exploration ramp developed there in the past, as you can see on this plan view, where Bonterra performed exploration drilling. We have done some exploration on the northeast side of the open pit, and we have published some very good results, which demonstrates that the ore body remains open east and west strike length as well. We have one diamond drill located on the Baggy Southeast property, exploring along the Windfall Break, which controls the mineralization of the Windfall deposits. At Bachelor Mower, the mine is actually on care and maintenance. On this long view, you see the Mower deposit on the right, which contains the majority of the 265,000 ounces resources. There's been a bulk sample there taken in 2020 for about 11,000 tons at a grade of near 4 grams per ton. All the ore was processed at the Bachelor Mill. You see another MAG survey of the Bachelor de Maraville property. This spring, we actually planning to perform a diamond drill program on the north of the mine, which is on the higher section on this slide. And basically, we are doing greenfield exploration there. There's no outcrop, no historical drilling, and we're just gonna test those high conductive region on this map. In summary, Bonterra has high-grade resources located in a very strategic land package, the Urban Barry Camp, which contains over 10 million ounces, which is now, in my mind, considered as a world-class mining camp. With 3 million ounces of high-grade ore, Bonterra has more than enough to achieve its goal to restart production in short, middle term. And in order so, we initiated a PEA at Barry for the open pit and the underground resources. And we believe the PEA will demonstrate the feasibility of the projects. We have high quality infrastructures with the mill currently permitted at 800 tons per day, and permitting process to triple the throughput up to 2,400 tons per day. Considering the quality of the infrastructures, we believe we could restart production by probably mid-year next year with limited amount of capital required and feeding the mill with the Barry ore. Thank you very much.
Marc-Andre, thank you very much. That was a great presentation. So we have some questions. You might have covered some of it, but perfect. Okay, let's just go over it a little bit. So you were just discussing the mill. So will you be milling your own properties, or do you tend to mill for other companies, doing a toll milling type of situation?
As it is, our base case will be solely processing the ore from our projects. Okay. There's a substantial amount of money to, to spend in order to increase the capacity, okay. And that money would be work for our project. We're spent for our projects.
But do you see that as something potentially down the road that you would be considering?
It could be. It could be. It's as you know, there's always the environmental aspect that is very important.
Yes.
We have a certificate of approval as it is basically for our projects. So that would be triggering some permitting process as well.
Of course. How are you finding the permitting process in Quebec?
Well, it's a very good question, because I had some experience in terms of permitting. However, I did not have experience above the 49th parallel. So basically, because we're so far north in Quebec, it triggers another layer of permitting, which involves the provincial authorities, the federal, and the First Nations as well.
Oh boy,
So
so that's
it
a lot
takes
of
time.
layers.
Yeah, there's another layer. Basically, it takes time. It has to done right. It has to be done right, technically, in order, to build a strong case when you submit your permit. But it takes time.
Of course, of course. So another question about the mill. How is your process, and what type of process would you be using?
It's basically a conventional CIP leaching process.
Okay.
We grind in cyanide. We have a rod mill and one tricone and two ball mills. So the gold is recovered with the carbon, basically. So very conventional process, typical to the Abitibi region. Historical mill recoveries were between 95 and 96%. When methanol processed the baggy ore at the pit, head grade was 2.2 grams per ton, and the recoveries was higher than 95%. So.
Wow. And so how long did the mill run, and when did it close?
Well, as I mentioned, the last time the mill was in operation was in 2020 for the bulk sample of the Maui deposit. But that was only for a short period of time.
Okay.
Prior to that, I believe the mill was shut down in 2018 for the last time. One thing I would like to mention is the Bonterra has done a very good job shutting down the mill properly.
Okay.
And that will definitively help Bonterra, when it's going to be time to restart the operation.
Marc-Andre, I believe you mentioned it, but how long would it take to restart the mill?
Honestly, it wouldn't take too long.
Okay.
Of course, there's some work that has been already identified that we plan to do. But one thing we are actually considering is to upgrade the mill with basically the addition of another ball mill, a bigger ball mill, which I think could be done once the engineering is completed within 3 months. And with that single upgrade, we think we could increase the mill throughput by 50% to 1,200 tons per day. Wow. So when I mentioned that we're trying to, to minimize the CapEx, to improve the economics of our project, we are considering to do the mill increase in phases instead of one single big project.
Okay.
We would do the same for the tailings expansion as well. Okay.
So some financial questions here. Who are your main shareholders, and are any institutions shareholders?
About 58% of our shareholders are institutional.
Excellent.
And the top four are Wexford, which owns just below 20%, followed by Cap. We also have Kirkland Lake, which is now Agnico Eagle. And we also have some big funds like Vanek, Roffler, and Fidelity as well.
Wow, great. So do you guys have any debt at the moment?
We do not. However, I mean, our cash position has reduced a bit with the start of the year, and that's basically
that was my next question.
Yeah, that's basically why we are on a capital raising at the moment.
Okay.
We expect to spend about in the next year and a half, 25 to 30 million. So
on exploration.
It's going to be a combination of exploration, technical studies. PEA is one, but the permitting as well. It does cost money. We have infrastructures to maintain on care maintenance, and at the bachelor mine and the bachelor mill. So we need some money for that as well. But I would say the majority of the money would be spent in exploration. We want to continue to do, to expand our deposits, but we also want to take the opportunity, especially during the winter, to perform some regional exploration in our land package.
Excellent. So are there any royalties on the property, or do you own them 100% outright?
No, there's been a stream that has been converted in royalties at Barry and Moroy deposit. There's a possibility to buy back with a couple of million to buy back those royalties. So I believe they are in the range of the average of about 3.8%. But like I mentioned, we can buy back some percentage with a couple of $1 million.
And would that be something you'd be interested in doing?
Of course, no doubt. The PEA will definitively explore those scenarios, but in my mind, that is a no-brainer to do, especially in gold, especially looking at the price of gold at the moment. The buyback is not really significant.
Okay, excellent. So I see that Paul's joined us. Paul, you have a couple of questions or two for Marc-Andre?
Yep. Marc-Andre, the 25 million flow-through deal that you just you've announced and you're trying to close, has it all closed? Are you about to close it totally?
No, we're not there yet. I believe we have released the March 10th, so maybe in the next 10 days, Paul.
Okay, perfect. And you just touched briefly on cash on hand. If with the 25 million, like flow-through raise, how far will that take? How far will that take you?
So the 25 million is not all flow-through.
Okay.
There's about 15 million flow-through and 10 million what I call hard dollars.
Yep.
I mean, we are to be honest, we are in the budgeting process at the moment. So we're putting some dollars in our plan that we want to do, but I can see that will bring us easily to early next year.
Okay. Now you're actively drilling at the moment, correct?
Correct.
When do we expect drill results to be coming in, and how backed up are the labs in your opinion right now? Because historically in the last little while, the labs have been very, very slow.
That is true, Paul. It is something that, Bonterra, we're not different than the others. However, we do have our own lab facility.
Oh, excellent.
Which takes care of some of the samples to be assayed. We are about 21,000 assays behind, which is about 3-4 months of diamond drilling. So we're certainly going to update the market as
you'll have lots and lots of news flow over the next little while.
Well, like I said to the boys, maybe we have a mine and we don't know yet. Having said that, we're working on a mitigation plan to catch up on the assay. We're hoping in the next 2 months we cut up basically on those 21, but as you know, the drills are still turning, so we're still generating more assays. So we got to stay on top of that.
With the results of all the drilling, I mean, do you have an idea where your focus wants to be on what property? Good
question, Paul. This is the exercise that we're doing now with the technical review in order to advance the company from advanced exploration to development to production restart. At one point, we are going to begin the infill drilling. At Barry, what's interesting, in-pit resource is actually in the measured category. So we don't need any more drilling for the in-pit portion of the deposit.
Okay.
So just to continue that path, the main focus would be on the Barry underground for now, doing the infill. At Gladiator, we are going to continue to drill, but we really need to do the underground exploration ramp there. It's something that we are planning to do, but the construction work will take place next year.
Okay.
And there's so many limitations at Gladiator. The lake, the shore, and the wetland. So we really need that exploration ramp to better explore the deposit. Like I mentioned, the Gladiator is, will come down the road, but needs definitively more exploration drilling from underground.
I got you. Well, Marc-Andre, merci beaucoup. Thank you so much. I know this is all new to you, so you're getting up to speed on a lot of the project as well. We look forward to all these drill results coming out, though, over the next little while. So we'll keep everybody posted as to what's going on. And again, merci beaucoup. Thank you, Marc-Andre.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Sophie.
You're welcome.